Natalie, I am so excited to have this video with you today. Right, okay, so what we're talking about. So today is the 5th of September,
It is.
and it is the week that all of the kids are going back to school. But my husband and I have made the decision that our two daughters are not going back to school. They are not going back to do their GCSEs in high school. So I've got two daughters, 15 years and 14 years, due to go into year 11 and year 10. And yeah, I feel deeply, my husband feels deeply, my children feel deeply that it is not in their best interest to go back to school for another year, 2 years in my youngest case, to do their GCSEs. Now, I feel like I want to put this out there as a video because I have been met by very opposing opinions and beliefs, which is fine. You know, we've all got our own different beliefs and opinions, and the school system and GCSEs are absolutely the right thing for a lot of kids out there, 100%, you know. But the opinions that I've kind of came up against is, number one, am I being selfish, not letting my children get their GCSEs, get their qualifications, setting them up for life? And the other one is like, it's legal. You must you send your kids to school or it's illegal. So obviously I am comfortable in my decision. I don't need anybody else's validation of that. My children are absolutely buzzing because they're now learning the things that they're interested in and loving the fact that they've got the freedom that I've got in my business. So we're all happy with that. But I just really welcome the opportunity to have a discussion with the gorgeous and wonderful and incredible talent that is Natalie Hendricks, to just open up this discussion, my darling. So do you want to just introduce yourself,
Yeah.
please, my love?
Well, thank you for sharing and giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts on this, because I think it's safe to say we obviously get on really well and we often debate stuff very regularly, don't we, my love? But what's really beneficial about our friendship and our working relationship is that we are both open to the different views that we have. Not that they're so opposing, but at times they are different. And this is one of the key things that we wanted to get across today, isn't it? Which is the ability to recognize and treat others with compassion in terms of their views, and that the world would be a really boring place if we all felt the same thing. So I am Natalie Hendricks, as Laura said. I am a leadership coach. So I empower females to be brave and bold in terms of how they come across, in terms of how they lead, because I truly believe that we all have a leader within us. Now, a lot of people will think, well, that's corporate and you can only be a leader in corporate. That's rubbish. You can be a leader and show up as you truly desire to be and be the authentic version of yourself, regardless of your occupation. This is about, and my huge thing is about really changing the narrative for females, thinking about your identity, how we have been programmed by society to live, to breathe, to function as females on this planet. And this also, whilst my work focuses primarily on working with females, this also is the lens of which we are programmed to believe males should be as well. So whether you're female, male, regardless of your gender, hopefully this gives you some insight that identity is so much more than a job title or a qualification. This for me is about really looking at the whole self and deciding, who am I? How do I want to show up? And I know that when me and Laura started being friends, one of the first questions I asked her was, who are you? And she's like, don't do that question. But we've helped each other grow,
Yeah.
haven't we?
Yeah. And this is the thing, because I feel like now with my daughters, I am literally undoing the harm that has been put on them in the school system. And I don't mean that, like, the school system is incredible, you know, they learn a lot, but there's also an awful that I totally do not agree with. You know, the fact that they are told that they all have to be the same, they all have to fall in line, they all have to think the same things, believe the same things, act the same way. It's like every bit of uniqueness, every bit of creativity is just drained out of them. Every bit of individuality is gone. And this is when you said to me, well, who are you? It's like, I don't know who I am. And I've been on my journey to figure out who I am and
Yeah.
why I'm in this world and what my purpose is now. But to get to that point, after, you know, just having it so drained into you that you have to be a certain way, you have to act a certain way, is just like mental. It's mental. And how many of us there's so much to cover here, like seeking validation from other people. They don't know how to be happy in themselves because they've been taught to please your teachers, please your parents, act a certain way. No wonder we've got like a nation full of teenagers that don't even know, like they're plucking genders out from everywhere because they don't know how to identify to themselves. They don't know who they are because they're so mixed up in their heads trying to fit into these boxes. It's like, oh,
and that's what it is. So if you just, in all transparency, so Laura has decided to take her two beautiful girls out of school. I have two young kids. So my kids are, trying to remember now, 6 and 7. It's because one of them's about to be 8. So mine are 6 and 7, but mine have gone back to school today. So they're in primary school. And that's the right thing for them because they're learning, reading, writing, getting curious about the world. They still have that innocence. What that looks like in the future, who knows? But everything that Laura's just said there for me, Laura, is that it's the removal of that innocence. It's the programming of you are in a system that overtly or sometimes subconsciously is saying, I am the authority figure. I say you do. And that you are then put into a box of how you should feel, how you should operate, how you should function. And from an identity and a human behavior perspective, then that means that I behave like this, my habits are X, and therefore the output is Y. And undoing is exactly what it is, which is saying, do I want to be in a space where I said it to you, didn't I? Do you remember that day when I was in Leeds and I was like, I'm looking around and I feel like I'm just surrounded by lemmings. Everybody's down on the train looking at the phone. Look up, look around you at this amazing world. But that's what's happening in school. Rhetorical kind of like learn, take it in, memorize, function. But then we lack the ability to actually tap into who we are. How do we feel? What do we want? What are we curious about? Because we lose the innocence because of the drumming in. Be like this. To be successful, you must do X, Y, and Z.
But it's almost as if it's teaching the kids. I mean, again, this is just my opinion, so I don't want to be offending anybody. It's almost like the opposite of success. Telling people don't make a mistake, there's only one right answer, don't collaborate, this is the way it has to be, don't think for yourselves. When you step into, I mean, both Natalie and I, we work with Natalie women, me men now, helping them to find what it is, who they want to be in the world, what they want to bring to the world, moving away from those corporate 9-to-5 jobs and creating a business or whatever that looks like for them to get that transition in their lives. So all of these things, don't make a mistake. The deep-rooted fears that we have as adults now, I'm scared to put myself out there. What if people laugh at me? What if people judge me? All of that, it comes from the school system. You put your hand up, you get it wrong. What happens? It creates trauma in your body. Your subconscious is never going to let you possibly put yourself out there again and create a business, bring your creativity to the world or whatever skill you've got, whatever passion you've got, because this, it's so drummed into us, isn't it? How you have to be. It's almost like the school system is creating the perfect employees designed to do just what they have to do, follow the rules, be a good employee. The Rockefellers, what was it? 1900s, they funded the entire education system. They didn't want a nation of thinkers, they wanted a nation of workers. And that's what, for me, that's what it comes back to. And when the girls, they chose the GCSEs, and I was absolutely buzzing that they both chose business studies. I was like, yes, this is amazing. They're going to be, they'll figure out how to start a business, and then they'll be able to, step into their power and bring their skills, achieve, creativity, passion to the world. And honestly, Natalie, I was asking them, what are you learning? And it's almost like it is designed to completely bamboozle them. The jargon that they was talking about, the terminology, it was just like, what? I mean, both of us, we started our own businesses. It's a doddle. All you need to do is find what you're good at, find out what you enjoy, and put it out there to the world.
Absolutely.
The idea of making money is not about swapping your time for money. It's about you bringing something of value to the world that can impact other people. And when you find that, it's like the world is your oyster.
Absolutely. And I do genuinely believe, you'll have heard successful people and quotes out there, but when you find something that you are passionate about, and I know what someone's probably going to think as they're watching this, well, I don't know what I'm passionate about. Clues in the title. That's because you don't know who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your job is to get curious. So who are you? What makes you feel alive? What gives you that fire in your belly? Whether you're a kid, teenager, or an adult, whether you're 40 like me or 80, if you're here, you woke up this morning, the universe has got a purpose for you. Find it. That's your responsibility. Yeah.
Yes.
So there's something for me, which is if you are passionate about something, the rest flows because that's alignment. When we're struggling, we're striving, we're trying to get up the hill and we just want to keep doing, and we're from this mentality of lack, what happens? Doesn't often happen. Nothing happens. The universe is joking around with you. Like, no, 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 no. Where you're not, that's not how easy it is. So it feels like a struggle. It feels like hard work. But when you love something and you're passionate about it, it flows. That's what true alignment is. But here's the point. I had to, and I know sure as hell that Laura had to, you've got to surrender to the programming. Because, I've just been with a client call now. And hands down, the number one thing that females say to me is, just want to be more confident. Well, I've got a relationship with this word confidence, which is confidence is an output of something deeper, some shit that's going on deeper. So that means self-worth, self-belief, value, acceptance. It's coming from somewhere. That where is your subconscious, is your story, how you're looking at life, how you've been programmed to think, to be, to feel, to act. Yeah. You've got to break the relationship with that. And I had to do it. So everything Laura's just said about fear, I experienced myself, didn't I, this time last year when I decided to give up the rat race. Successful job. And I'm talking no disrespect to somebody. I had a big job, big responsibilities, good salary, but something fell off and I had to step into it. I was like, what's feeling off? And I'm shit scared of leaving this programming. This is how I should be. But I left it. And how's my life been since then? I'm like,
absolutely buzzing, my love.
Just spent the summer working away with freedom, expansion, with my kids, spending time, not worrying about putting 7 days on an annual leave card. Yeah.
And it's interesting you brought that up because this is exactly the same as my story as well. So right now, yeah, my own business, loving life, work and everything exactly as I want it. I've created that. I've done the work. I've done the inner work to be able to recognize what it was that was holding me back. Up until my early 30s, I believed I was absolutely useless in the workplace. I had no self-belief in myself, right? I went through the education system. I got all my GCSEs, I got my A-levels, I got my degree. I did not believe in myself. I did not believe I was capable of having, like Natalie just said, a well-paid job, success, and all of that. Why was that? After I did the digging, I worked with a coach, found out what on earth it was. It went right back to an experience that I had when I was in year 5. And this experience, and this is something that we all have, just as Natalie's explained, we all have our personality traits. We all have that lack of confidence, that lack of self-belief. Maybe we don't recognize it yet. Maybe we have ideas, but something's holding us back and we don't know what's holding us back. We can bet our bottom dollars there is something deeper, like Natalie's just said. My something deeper rooted back to this experience. I was in year 5, and I got mixed up with my Antarctica and Arctic, which one's supposed to be on the top, which one's supposed to be on the bottom. And the whole class was laughing at me. In that moment, my subconscious made the decision that, or realized or thought that I was less than every single person in that classroom. All of those people that were laughing at me, all of my peers that were laughing at me, my subconscious decided, Laura, you're not as good as anybody else. They're all better than you. They're all more worthy than you. They're all cleverer than you. And so then when I've grown up, I've even, like I said, GCSEs, degree, the lot, went into jobs. Even in jobs, I was sat in front of the CEO and they're saying to me, Laura, what do you want to be? We will fund you to become anything in this business. We can see it in you. You've got this ability. I was like, me? I'm nothing. I mean, I was even saying it to you, even when I started my VA business and I was coaching people, I still didn't have that self-belief because it is so ingrained into us. And that is just an example of one, and there's so many of these experiences that we have when we're young that just shape up who we are. So when we get to this age and you're listening to the likes of me and Natalie and I, like, well, I've got my job and I'd really like to do this, but I can't possibly see myself doing this because there's no way I could do that, because people like me don't do that. Actually, people like you do that. People like you are capable of these things. It's just about being brave to like question, why are you doing this? Do you want to do the 9 to 5? Do you want your life to be like this? Because I can tell you now, your life can be anything that you want it to be. You just need to be brave enough to believe it.
Exactly that. And everybody has a story. It's coming from somewhere, like you've just said. And let's be clear here, you know, because I'm big on like inclusivity and diversity, and recognizing, as someone that has had a career in HR and leadership development, and this is the space I work in, we are all different, and we should embrace everyone being different, because the world would be very boring, like I said, if we were all the same. So what might work for some might not work for others. But the critical bit here for me is, it's not about the output, it's about how true are you being to you. You know, how much are you listening to what it is that you truly desire, your body, instead of just this mechanical brain that's functioning and telling you that you shouldn't, autopilot, and then you find yourself in a place you're like, huh? How did I end here? So I went to school. I did the GCSEs. I did the A-levels. I even did the degree. I even decided I'm going to work in HR and did a postgraduate degree. All of which served me. Got me to that place. But did I still have those moments where I was like, shit, how did I get here? Can I actually do this when I'm getting paid X amount of £1,000 and I've got a huge team underneath me? And I was like, oh, and the imposter was there, and it was raging, because my story is, and continues to be, because you never break free of it, you just got to outgrow it. I'm not good enough. So I had all the qualifications in the bloody world, still felt shit, still had the imposter arriving. So you will never get rid of it completely, but you start to change the relationship with it. So you have to be thoughtful about, how are you and your kids and your friends and whatnot being programmed even? Is that being true to you? And if you don't know what being true to you looks like, then there's the clue in the bloody, phrase. Find out. I had to find out. I didn't know what made me happy. After all that work and real clarity on, I'm going to be this and I'm going to be that, and got to 40. Shit, what do I want to be? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up?
And that is one thing that comes up for me all of the time as well. When I start working with clients, do what makes you happy. It's like this like blank, because we are so programmed, like you say, to rush around the 9 to 5. You've got to be this, be all things to all men as a woman as well. And men are the same, we've got to do, if we're not taking our kids to a million different clubs on a night, then we're letting them down. If we're not creating like the most incredible healthy meals on the table on a night, then we're not being good enough. It's all programming. It's just undoing all of this stuff. Like, get curious. Like, why do you do the things you do? Why do you think the things you do? Why do those people that said to me feel like I'm being selfish by not putting my kids through that amount of stress and anxiety? I'm kidding you not, right? My girls, you know them, obviously. I'm biased. They are absolutely incredible. Wonderful. Absolutely incredible. My eldest, she started with year 10, and her whole demeanor, everything about her, she just started to shrink last year. Like, got anxiety. She was coming home, she was just going into a shell. I'm like, what is going on with her? And all she was saying is like, Mum, what about my GCSEs? What about this? I need to do this. And I'm like, whoa, let's just stop here. Is this what you want to do? Oh, I need it I need it to be able to get a job. Hang on a minute. Do you want a job? Do you want to be an employee? Is this what you want? Do you want to be an employee in England? Not really. Her dad's an employee, okay? I'm not. She's looking at, she can see for herself what kind of lifestyle does she want?
Behavior,
Exactly, So is that what she wants? No. Okay, so why are you putting yourself under pressure? Because the teachers are. Right, okay. So let's think about their agenda. What is it? Why are they putting under pressure, Do you want a career in geography, in history, in these subjects? No. Okay, so what do you need to know about them that's going to benefit you for the future? And I've just been getting underneath them and really supporting her to just take away this pressure. But I kid you not, the pressure that they put on, and that was in year 10. So if she went back now in year 11, I would absolutely dread to think the difference in that child, because she is such a happy, carefree, just loving, just a beautiful soul. And it was just draining. I could see it going in front of me. So I really had to sit down and just put this into perspective for her, because there's so much that she can bring to the world as well, but she's still learning to dig out some of these passions and talents and creativities that she's got, and we're getting there now, and I'm like, yes, my child's returning to me, you know.
Yeah, and also I think there's something which is, you know, whether it's school or whether it's a job, deciding to go from corporate into, you know, self-employment, etc. There's always time. Yeah, life is short. No shit, Sherlock. But there is always time to U-turn on stuff. So, you know, for your kids at this moment in time, it wasn't working. It was manifesting in a set of symptoms and physical, you know, how they were feeling. But if they turn around and said to you, you know, in 2 years' time, 5 years' time, 10 years' time, no, I want to go back and I want to do this because I've decided I want to be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever, then it's being open to that. They might not do, but I think it's being thoughtful about seeing the person. Yeah.
100%. And I've said that to them, you know, I gave them the option. Do you feel like you want to do GCSEs, but I'll homeschool you and you can do them, we can do them privately? Absolutely not. But it's not so much that, you know, it's not right for them. You know, both of them are like, you know, top set kids. They're really doing well at school. But it's, what do they want their lives to look like? Both of them want to be by the sea. Both of them love water sports. Both of them want to be outdoors. There is nothing to do with any of the GCSEs now that's going to support that sort of lifestyle. Now, what my husband and I have said is, at one point we had the conversation with them about, I've forgotten the term now, but it's the license, you know, to captain yachts, huge yachts. Yes. I think I mentioned this to you before.
Yeah.
We mentioned it to them. We said, would you like something like that? Would you be able to, would you love to have that as a qualification so that, you know, you can jump on a yacht, catamaran, whatever size, and take it from X to Y across the world? And they just lit up. They was like, oh my goodness, yeah, that'd be incredible. It's like, okay, well, let's make sure we've got the money available, if that's what you decide you want to do, to fund you to do that. And then that's giving them a skill that absolutely lights them up, something that they can easily generate wealth wherever they are in the world at whatever time. And that could look like a month's worth of work out of the year, and then they can enjoy their life for the other 11 months in the year, you know. It's like opening up our minds to, yeah,
that's exactly what it is. I've got friends who, you know, have put their kids into things like forest school, etc., because they recognize that they don't learn best from sitting at a desk with a book, that they need to be outside, you know, with the elements, interacting and so on and so forth. So I think it's just my really strong feeling in this is just opening yourself up to what is available out there, and that doesn't have to be what you've always known. If you always do what you've always done, you're always going to get what you've always got. That was a quote that a guy that I worked for said that to me, and I was like, I think he's got a point on that one. And it completely is. So I use that quote all the time. It completely is. And we are taught that if we don't always do what we've always done, well, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? Now we're really pushing outside the zone, you know? And I see successful women, and I'm talking, you know, successful women earning big bucks, who are saying, how did I end up here? Or I would never be as brave as you to go out and get, you know, work for myself. I'm like, do you want that? Well, actually, I quite like it. Oh, would you? Well, what's stopping you? Well, that's not the way we do things in our family. Yeah. All subconscious programming. Yeah. All linked to society programming and identity of how we think we should be showing up in the world based on how we have been programmed. That's at its simplest level. Now, this is not saying that that works for everybody, but I think the key bit here for me is create awareness and the rest flows. Yeah. That doesn't mean that you all have to pull your kids out of school. My kids are in school. That doesn't mean that you all have to say, right, you're not going to do this. We're all going to go out and learn to, you know, sail a catamaran or whatever. But the key thing here is Laura has created that creativity, that awareness, that curiosity to understand, as a fly, sorry, to understand what makes those girls tick. What gives them fire? What gives them that growth? What gives them that enthusiasm, that passion? Because that's, you know, we talk about a world of lacking in resilience and well-being. Well, go figure.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's mental, isn't it?
Completely. It completely.
Absolutely mental. I love talking to you now.
Oh, likewise. I mean, if you could have, we always say this, don't we? When we go out on our walks, we're walkers, aren't we, with my dog?
Yeah,
And we just chitter chatter about all stuff, and we say we should record some of it.
we should. We should record this. Yeah, I think if we covered everything we want to say on the subject.
For now, I mean, let's be honest, we could always find more to talk about, but let's keep it short and sweet. And hopefully, this is just really, it's a window into what we're thinking, and it's a snapshot, isn't it? And hopefully, food for thought. And if it resonates, I know that we're both like, well, come join the party, let's have more conversation about this.
Yeah,
I'm sure we'll be back here talking about something else anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And I'll put all the links to everything that Natalie does and everything that I do.
Absolutely.
On the video. But I'll just have to tell you what happened. I saw one of my the mum friends this morning. So her daughter was in Lydia's class at primary school, and we've kept in touch. It's amazing. And I always tell her what's going on in my life, because it has changed so much, hasn't it, the past few years? I know. She's like, Laura, this is mad. She's like, have the girls come back to school? I was like, no. And she went, really? Nope. I've just emailed school, let them know. She was like, Laura, that's mad. It's crazy, but in the most incredible way. She says, I just love how brave you are. You're just like breaking out of this system. I'm like, yeah, I am. It's scary as anything, but I'm going to do it because I'm literally following my heart. So I just want to say, and again, if this resonates with you, if it might not, please don't watch anything else if it doesn't resonate. If it's triggering you as well, sometimes we're triggered by things. Our subconscious might be like, well, that's wrong because X, Y, and Z. Yeah. Remember, your subconscious is always trying to protect you. My subconscious did not want me to do anything new because it thought the rest of the class was going to laugh at me. Yeah. And this is what keeps us safe. So it's about recognizing it, being aware of it, but moving forward still and confronting it and like, no, that idea of me not being good enough and me not being worthy enough, that came when I was 8 years old. It's not serving me anymore. And so I've outgrown that part of me now. Yeah. So I've been brave enough, and I'm brave enough to put this video out there, and I'm brave enough to stand up to the school, and I'm brave enough to say to my friends, actually, no, school is not right for my kids at the moment. So,
and I just say, you are being amazing, and you are being brave, and you are leading the way. That's the point, yeah? People will follow, and some people won't follow, and that's all right, like Laura said. And what I would say is, if you don't like it, well, don't switch it off. Maybe just open up your horizons and get a different lens on the world. You can recognize it, you can notice, you can appreciate, but say, that's not for me. That's fine. Because one of my biggest things is like, kindness is so underrated. And I'm like, if you allow the ego to come in and say, they're wrong, I'm right, well, that's telling you a whole heap of stuff right there. Yeah. So open up your horizons and be thoughtful about what others are saying. That doesn't mean you've got to agree with people. We don't agree on everything. My kids are in, your kids are out. But we're all showing up with our best intent. Yeah, we're all showing up to that best version of ourselves. And that's the critical bit.
Yeah. And I think one of the, when you start stepping into this place and listening to your intuition instead of the ego, the programmed ego and the subconscious that's trying to keep you safe, one of the easiest ways to do this is just to sit with yourself, like no distractions, close your eyes, take some deep breaths into your heart. It's all about trying to shut down this voice in your head.
Noise.
Yeah, exactly. And just tune into who you are. Tune into what's coming through from you, what feels good to you. Yeah. And this is something that, again, we all need to get to that place, because this is so programmed. The whole world is designed to program this, tell you what to think, believe, everything. So get back to your heart space and figure out what feels right for you. And
that's what we could do next time. The difference between being and doing, because being is about being in touch with your body, like Laura's just described, really listening, because often we are not listening to our body.
Nope.
And if you do listen to your body, then that allows your brain and your mind to work from a place that is heart-led, versus doing, which is distraction, mechanical almost.
It's almost like the world is set up to make sure we're keeping that doing place. Long hours, loads of pressure, you've got to work overtime, you're too exhausted, to put entertainment on TV, keep you nicely occupied, you never get time to stop and think and be. And that is the thing. Anyway, let's leave that there.
We're going off.
Right, so if anybody has enjoyed listening to this, I would love it if you could put a like on here.
And give us a view. Yeah, give us a view. Give us a view if you've enjoyed it, or even if you think, oh, it's triggered me in some way, share that. I would be interested to hear that as well.
yeah, so any comments would be amazing. Like, this is one of my first videos. So yeah, if you could like, comment, share, and yeah, just share with your friends as well. It would be amazing if you could share this video too. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you, Natalie, for having this chat with me today. And yeah,
See you soon.
until next time. Au revoir.